You're listening to Evenings with Sarah McDonald.
Have you ever been digging in the backyard, doing some gardening, something like that, and found something very special buried deep beneath the dirt? A long forgotten piece of jewellery perhaps, an old time capsule to another time, maybe even a fossil. If we find something like a dinosaur bone or an ancient fossil or some remnants of another people that lived in your place at another time, what should you do with it? Sally Hurst is a Macquarie University Biological Sciences Master's student, and she's created a website called Found a Fossil. So these really important discoveries don't just collect dust in our sheds. And Sally's with us to tell us more. Hello, Sally.
Hello, it's lovely to be here.
Great to have you. What made you want to create this website?
So I finished my undergraduate degree at Macquarie and I'd majored in archaeology and paleontology, and thinking about future directions of maybe field work or what I would want to do. And it got me thinking about, okay, if I did ever go on field work in Australia and I did happen to find a dinosaur bone or something, what on earth was I meant to do with it? I figured I had these 2 degrees and had spent 4 years studying it, but I had no idea who I was meant to contact. Was there an authoritative body? Did I need to contact anyone? So there was this really big knowledge gap that I figured if I, as someone who has a degree in these fields, wasn't taught about what the right thing to do is, then a lot of the public probably have no idea as well. And so, as you said, there was a lot of this amazing heritage material that could just be sitting in a shed and not being protected. And so I set out to provide some information, and hopefully that will contribute towards better protecting Australia's heritage into the future.
Well, I've always dreamed about finding a dinosaur bone or something on my property. Alas, I never have, or a significant fossil.
Yeah.
Damn it. But so what is the first thing someone should do when they do dig something up?
Yeah, so it does depend on where you are in Australia and what you found. So, for example, if you are a farmer in New South Wales and you have uncovered something like an Aboriginal stone tool, then it could be culturally sensitive, it might be a bit fragile, so you generally don't want to pick it up and touch it. You want to record the details. So what does it look like? Take some photographs, take a GPS location of where you found it, and then you want to contact the Heritage Authority in your state. So for New South Wales, that's going to be Heritage New South Wales, or it could be the local Aboriginal Land Council. In ACT, it's something similar. So it's ACT Heritage Council.
Well, I suppose that's the thing. The local Land Council will know about that area, and you want to be able to contact elders, I suppose, who can help you, because that's something that is very important to them. It doesn't belong to you.
Exactly, and so the project is about starting those conversations about heritage, and a lot of the time, especially with farmers, there has been sort of a bit of a myth around that if you do find something on your land, then that might be grounds for getting your land taken away from you. That isn't true, and unfortunately the poor communication of the legislation has really been a hindrance and has kind of perpetuated that myth. And so instead, none of these conversations are happening, and a lot of the time elders and Indigenous communities are not contacted because there is a really big fear where, I think everyone can agree that there is such amazing stories and histories that are connected to these objects and artefacts that we all want to protect.
Well, that's right, because then you can learn a lot more about where you live, the place where you live, the land in which you are living upon, where so many people, of course, have lived before, going back 40,000 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Or more. Yeah, and so you may learn something out of that. Say it's something like a fossil or something like that. What's the first step to do there?
Yeah, so if it is a fossil that you have, dug out of the ground, then again, it's millions of years old. So you do want to be a bit careful. If it's, stuck in the kind of dirt that is around it, you want to be really careful. Maybe think about contacting someone like a museum or a paleontologist, so they have the right tools to come out and, dig it out of the ground. And museums are also a great place. They can help you identify it if it is something they have 1,000 of, or it could be a brand new species. And so again, you want to contact these people so these heritage discoveries aren't lost. And you never know if it is a brand new species. Some of the time in Australia, the people who have helped to find these discoveries are actually having these fossils or dinosaurs named after them, which is pretty special.
Yes, well, that's happened in New South Wales, hasn't it, I think?
Yeah, in quite a few places around Australia. So sometimes it could be named after a person who helped with the dig. Sometimes it's named after a town. So I think one of Australia's latest dinosaurs, which was found just a few years ago, is called the Wee Warosaurus because it was found out near Wee War. So scientists get to be a bit creative with what they name things, and they definitely encourage the participation of the community and the people who are finding this stuff in the scientific process.
And the community includes the person who found it in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Sally Hurst is a Macquarie University Biological Science Master's student. She's created a website. It's called Found a Fossil, so you know what to do if you find something. And how can you work out if it is a fossil or something, or just a bit of junk? You might think you found a dinosaur, but it's actually an old cattle bone.
Yeah, absolutely. It happens quite often. So, again, museums are a really good place to go. They have identification services for this exact kind of thing. So some people may have thought they found a fossil. Sometimes it could just be a rock, but you never know. So places like the Australian Museum in Sydney is really great because they have an Ask an Expert service. So you can take photos of the fossil, you can, give them details about where it was found, and they can help you to identify it and, figure out if it is something really special.
Isn't that terrific? And so if people want more information, I suppose they should check out your website.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all live now, and if they want to follow along with the project, they can contact me through there.
Foundafossil.com. Do you think there's much more to find? Like, are people finding things constantly in the city? Because there's still, a whole lot of digging going on everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So it really depends. Sometimes, there are definite hotspots for fossils and archaeological materials, but we never know when or where we're going to find these. So while, we may not think that the city is a popular place to find things, we have a lot of national parks still in and around Sydney. So there's always the opportunity to find something.
All right, you never know what lies beneath. It's an intriguing thought. Thank you for your time tonight.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
You take care. Sally Hurst, who's doing her master's. It's called foundafossil.com. So foundafossil, all one word, .com. Check it out. See if you find something in your garden, then, you've got to do the right thing by it, by the community, by science, I suppose, as well. That's important, isn't it? Because we can all learn something from that. We'll talk science after 9 o'clock. Dr. Darren Saunders will be with us. He's going to talk about gifted dogs that can learn 12 words a week. He'll take us to the Nobel Prizes for Science as well. Who won and for what reasons?